So I think we're going to run a tier 17 map. This should be interesting. I have never been in a T17. I avoided the Valdos maps because I disapprove of the concept in many respects. But the new T17 to this league I also haven't run because I just haven't considered I've had enough strong enough character. Plus I've only had 5 drop so far. They're all complete bullshit. For example, where's a good example? Yeah, this one just is brilliant. So there's a lot more rares, fine. Impales are as lethal as possible. When monsters impale you, which they always do when they hit you, so after a certain number of hits, after every 5 hits, you take a ton of damage. Effectively, as does any ally nearby, so that will also hit my minions. Monsters ignite, freeze and shock, well that's less of a problem, but it will mean we get ignited a lot. Cannot recharge energy shield, that's not so much of a problem for us. Players have 50% less defenses. Well, defenses are armor, evasion and energy shields. That would halve our armor and halve our ES. That would kind of be problematic. 90% reduced effective non-curse auras. So effectively, we lose 90% of our spell block buff and our damage buff and our armor. So yeah, you're pretty much running without defenses at that point. Not so much of a problem if you're playing an Archmage. Less of a problem if you are playing anything else. That sentence made no sense. I'm fine with that. I cannot regenerate life, mana, or energy shield. So yeah, we'd have to equip the mana flasks, and rare monsters have 2 additional modifiers. That is just insane. So there's 40% increased numbers of 4 mod rares, and we have no defenses. And everything does lethal fizz damage. And impale damage is reflected, which means that your armor won't actually do anything anyway. So you'd need probably to be reflect immune. It's a bit of an issue. Yeah. And of course this one where you just get regularly turned to stone, so that's pretty nice, and your auras largely don't work. Here we've got multi-proj, and rare monsters explode, I assume, have volatile cores. I'm guessing that's effectively the mod from Sanctum. Yeah, really pretty bad. So let's just chaos this until we can run it, since it's only modifiable with chaos orbs. It used to be, at the start of the league, that you couldn't modify these at all. So you just have to sell them to some other poor sap, or just throw them away, which was my previous plan. But let's see. Can't leech, well that's fine. Power charge on hits. Boss is a bit tougher. Cannot use totems. Monsters get an endurance charge, 50% chance to avoid poison. So that is pretty much a white map. The boss is tougher, and their AoE is massive. But I don't think that's a problem. That's actually... yeah, 50% chance to avoid poison. Well, we attack so quickly that actually I think that's fine. Yeah, let's run this. Now, we get extra quant. Do we want to run some scarabs just to make this worthwhile? I'm not going to put harbingers in it. What are we talking? No, not reliquary. I don't want to fill it with rogue exiles automatically, but I might if we get a good roll on the map device. Strong boxes could be interesting. Beyonds. Assorted beyond. We could throw some breaches into it. What are the mods? What does that do? 100% IIQ. 100% rarity, more maps, more scarabs. So a map scarab would be quite good. What do we got in cartography? Duplicated. Non-unique maps are corrupted 8 mods. Unique map from the final boss. More maps. That's a bit lame. We could make all the monsters harder ourselves. We could fill it with Atlas bosses. That'd make it interesting. We could add more quantum rarity to it if we wanted. These are all the sextant mods that have been converted to scarabs. Portals may not be consumed on use. I think I might actually do that because I'd quite like to kill the boss. Limit 1. Okay. Increased pack size. Have we got a map conversion mod by any chance? Tier 14 maps have a chance to drop as Shaper, Elder, or Synthesized. Yeah, let's do one of those. And then a straight up cartography increased would be nice. Corrupted 8 mod, no we don't like that. Let's just do +1. We don't have a 5-slot map device because we'd have to complete this map to get one. And we'll run Searing Exarch so the Maven doesn't show up. Let's see what happens. Pack spawns a tormented spirit on death. I think we'll send you to the bottom. Attacks always maim on hit. Let's have less of you, but I don't like Fizz as extra cold. Yeah, we could make this a bit easier and frog up some of the monsters. 80% increased damage. Yeah, I'm gonna frog you. Fizz is extra cold. Beast using Leap Slam. It's very tempting to frog them both. I want to complete the map. Yeah, let's frog you. Frog you, mother frogger. Oh, this should be interesting. I've never used frogs before. I've been saving them. Okay, so place your bets as to how long the minions will last. I'm guessing that our spectres will not survive the boss encounter. Probably shouldn't have brought the Searing Exarch in here. Whoa ho 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 ho. Some of that stuff was tanky.
We're almost full up, Ed. Might want to make use of our stored forces.
I might. Some of these rares are quite hard. Yeah. Ideally, we don't die before the boss. I mean, ideally. Creature can live without you. Do I really want to do tier 17 harvest? I mean, so far, not deeply impressed, but I did get a very lucky roll. difficulties. I'm going to skip the harvest for now. No, we got a void. I didn't think that could drop. Maybe it only drops in tier 17. I know they disable its normal drop. Okay, that's our first conversion. Those are the frogs. Is this the boss room? I think it might be. It's a lot of dead made dead. Something just happened. Don't know what that was. No, let's not click the altar. I don't want torment scarabs, anyway. And I don't want the boss to have extra physical damage as a random element, please. Not right now. Another void. Six. I like Samulet. Oh yes, I haven't loot filled to block the high item level bases. A lot of detonate dead going on. Possessed and exploding crystals. Always a nice mod, love to see that. Of course, most of the time you don't see it and it kills you. Right, you are dead. Twice. Sure, why not? Done yet? Another void. It's a lot of void. Consecrated ground, greater ember. Not bothered. Amazingly, the spectres are still with us. Not quite large. Okay. Morgue is full. Let's
Got no more room in the morgue.
It's fine, we pop in it anyway.
What we want is done.
High level bow, high level magic stick. Whatever's. Guessing breach is fairly harmless here. Surely? Because these aren't going to be special mobs. We've just got a breach with high IQ, surely? And I guess map mods affect it. It's just in the case of this map, it's not going to do much. Lead. Okay. Well, it's certainly big, and I'll give it that. Right, let's declare this home central. Let's go grab this shrine. Try and kill the boss. Hey dude. What are you? Nightmare of the something. Whoa, you hit remarkably hard. Ooh. Okay. Just guessing the mechanics here. Generally, it's don't stand in front of the robot. Usually. Don't get hit by the beams. Also usually a good bet. So, we got our Uber Boss fragment, which is worth 60 div, and leads to, what is that? Uber Shaper, I guess? Though I think you need, how many of those? 5? 7? Use 5. Right, yes. And some very dull loot. We did get a map. So we dropped a map that got converted thanks to the scarab we used. Well, that was pretty trivial. Admittedly, this build is quite good now. And the mods were really kind to us. We did lose a golem, assuming I remember to bring him. If I didn't, then the golem was fine. We kept all the relics, and the spectres are not dead, which is kind of a surprise. We were doing about half damage, slightly more, because monsters were avoiding our poison 60% of the time. So without that mod, we'd have been doing 60% more damage. So, yeah, I mean, it was alright. Can't say that I would look forward to getting to tier 17s. I mean, it's another one of these sort of brown mods. It's just sort of Blighttown. And I mean, I'm fairly convinced that the Syndicate, the Heist map, which uses this sort of bunker layout thing, just looks a bit cooler normally. Maybe it doesn't, but this just looks kind of brown. It's like brown brick on concrete. I mean, where's the tier 17 luscious garden map? No? Where's the T17 sort of Cloud City map? Why is it a fucking sewer? And I mean, the stuff in it was slightly harder than T16. Right. A stray. Yeah, it was slightly harder than T16. Probably 2 or 3 times as tough, maybe a bit more. Obviously, a lot more with bad mods. I mean, you can get crazy mods on these. I've got one which has Union of Souls, which means that every mob shares life. Every mob that isn't rare or a boss, so all the magic and normal share life. And effectively, every time you kill one of them, their life is added to all of the others, which means that the last sort of mob in the map has more health than anything else in the game at all. So yeah, it's a stupid idea. But I mean, even without stupid mods, I've got to say, this is pretty lame. And it used to be, and I don't like fighting Ubers. I think the Ubers are pretty lame, to be honest, because it's just the same boss as normal, except they have some extra attacks. Yay! What would be nice is if the Ubers were actually different bosses, you know, if some resources were spent on Path of Exile 1. I know that's not possible because there's cool stuff going on with PoE 2, and I understand that. But slightly pimped up versions of existing bosses are not exciting. And running through a sewer in order to collect 5 blobs so that I can go and fight the harder version and then have a very small chance of dropping something that's worthwhile. Yeah, if it wasn't for the challenges, I'd just skip the whole thing, I think. T17s need to be cooler than this. Maybe there are some better ones. This is my first one. Maybe there are some that aren't brown. Maybe. Still, we survived. You know? Not too impressed with the drops. I mean, they're fine. Yeah, I guess I may have to look up T17 strategies if I want to do those repeatedly, but I'm not sure that I do want to do those repeatedly. I think I'd rather be in Strand. Okay, well, that'll do for now. Until next time, farewell.